Hey, this is Christy Powell with Women Talk Construction. I'm here with Angela. Hey, Angela.
Hello, Christy. How are you today?
I'm good. Did you notice I have some Christmas trees behind me? It is the Christmas season when we're actually recording these podcasts. So we wanted to show a little cheer on our YouTube video. I know that some of you are going to be just listening on a podcast, so you will not see the Christmas trees, but we wanted to make sure you knew that they were there. So one of the things that we have been talking about is we have been meaning to get on and do a podcast with just the two of us for a while. So you're going to hear from us, just us, for a couple of sessions, maybe even 3. And we want to talk about some of the things that we feel like it's really important, not only to our industry, but to all women in non-traditional roles. And one of the first things that we wanted to do today was we want to take a minute to highlight some of the best podcasts we've had on the show, who've helped us to get where we are today, but also are part of an organization that's supporting industries. And that could be the construction industry, manufacturing, just supporting women in industries where the males are populated, more populated than women. So what I'd love to see as we start listing these, I'm going to list the first few, and then Angela's going to come in and list some others. And then we're going to go back and we're going to talk about some of these and why they're so important to us. And hopefully it will bring you value. If you're considering joining an organization, maybe you'll be able to decide, oh yeah, that's definitely for me. So that's why we're doing this podcast today. We really want to help you make decisions as to, where you're spending your time when you have just a few moments available. As moms and as busy women, we and business women, right? We just seem to stay busy all the time. So we wanted to help you with that. So I'm going to start off first with people and organizations. And this is in no order, but these just made the top of our list as we went through talking about it. This does not mean it is a full list. We have a lot of folks that we love in all their organizations because there's so many out there. But Jennifer Wilkerson from NCCER, she was on our podcast. Deb Bradley, Regional Director of Northeast WCOE with Lorraine D'Angelo, President. Renee Sachs with Women's Builders Council in New York. Women Confidence Builders with Christy Powell, nonprofit in Greenville, South Carolina. Jennifer Morales with NAWIC, and that is in Florida. Her chapter is in Florida. Brian Gallagher with Groundbreak Carolinas. It's a publication. And I think that's it. I think Angela's going to read the rest.
Yeah, so I'll read the rest of them. So then there's Perla, and she is a federal contractor in heavy civil, and Tanya Hicks, and she is she also has a construction company in Atlanta, but her .com is Women Do Everything. And there's Peter, who's with the Association of General Contractors of California. And then we have Mike with the ABC National, in which we have been judges.
Yes.
Yay, big shout out to them. And then Habitat, which, they have those really great women build programs. And then there's also Kate with Crew Collab.
And she was on our podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So let's just go back and highlight some of these that we talked about and just give our audience a little bit more information. I want to start with Mike at ABC, Mike Bellaman, ABC. I get to be on the Inclusion, Diversity, and Merit Committee this year nationally. Really excited about that. Just got my letter today telling me that I have been appointed. And Mike, thanks a lot. That team at ABC, I really love them. Associated Builders and Contractors. I get to serve on the board of ABC Carolinas and absolutely love that group of people that are making a big impact in our industry every day. But I do want to say one thing about where we were judging. So we got to judge the annual convention for ABC's Contractors Inclusion, Diversity, and Merit Awards last year. And it looks like we got invited to do it again this year. So it's really an honor to be able to look over what these companies are doing and how they're doing it, and then determining, who is the best in class when it comes to inclusion, diversity, and merit. And I just feel like that's a bigger honor to us than even winning an award, is just being able to pick in and help those folks that are really out there killing it when it comes to um, kicking it up a notch with inclusion, diversity, and merit.
And it
And
was
by
cool to see the smaller companies too, right? Because it wasn't just the big
It
mammoth companies
wasn't.
doing it.
Nope. There were
It
a
was
couple small companies that
there were
won
a lot
awards. I wish I could remember
several.
them all, but it's
Yeah,
been a
we
year
maybe
ago.
that'd be another podcast,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's yeah, I love that time too, so.
Yeah. So you've got somebody you wanna talk about. I'll let
Yeah,
you go
okay, you want me
next.
to go?
Yeah.
So, I will pick, Kate with Crew Collab,
Yeah.
and I pick her because I found her on Instagram, and if you wanna follow her there, her, handle is Kate Builds It, um, and so definitely give her a follow because 'cause she's got a really good Instagram account, but she is going to be the board president-elect of Crew Collab, and by the way, that's a nonprofit organization
Right.
using innovative tactics to strengthen the blue collar workforce and establish a worldwide community. And they are really doing some really cool things out there, right, Christy?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, workshops and,
Yes.
schools, or not schools, but camps. I think they're doing a camp, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and they have a very diverse group of people
Mhm.
within that group in order to help younger folks see which path they wanna take, whether it's heavy civil, whether it's electrical, whether it's, carpentry, whatever it could
Yes.
be. Um, and there's a lot of people that we even know on LinkedIn that we follow that are part
Yeah,
of this
yeah,
organization, so and Kate
and
was
we love it.
also I know, and Kate was also on
Also
our
on our
podcast.
podcast.
Yes.
Yes, awesome. I love it. NCCR, we gotta talk about them a
Oh,
little bit.
yes.
Jennifer Wilkerson was on our podcast.
And we
She's
were
the
on
VP.
hers.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was our first crossover we ever did. That
Yeah.
was cool. So, yeah, we got to be on the Builders Table podcast as well. She's the VP of Innovation and Advancement. Amazing lady.
Mhm.
Came from the education industry. She was and what NCCER is, they are built for industry by the industry. You can get to their website, NCCER. NCCER is recognized by the construction industry as the training, assessment, and certification and career development standard for the construction and maintenance craft professional, reaching the young people about skilled trades. Absolutely amazing organization.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, when I was at the Greenville Tech, welding board, they actually were talking about this NCCER certifications.
Yes.
So, a lot
Well,
of the
they do at Greenville Tech too.
Right,
They're
right.
using their curriculum for carpentry.
Yeah, at technical school colleges and at the
Yeah,
career centers, they can choose to do this path, and I think it's a great thing, right?
absolutely. One of the things I would be remiss not mentioning is that NAHB has a program called
Mm.
HBI, Home Builders Institute, and they're also doing a lot of things very similar to NCCER in creating training paths and certifications
Hmm.
as well. Forgot about that. I did not have that written down, but I thought it was really important for us to say. I think they founded that organization in Florida, but they're all over. And Ed Brady is pretty amazing. He's the president, and he just recently got a position with the NAHB, and I apologize. I don't know what that position was, but congratulations, Ed. We're glad that you're there. Really excited about what you're doing for our industry and how you're teaching young people. But I also saw a lot of women there in their
Yay!
mid 40s and 50s when we were there visiting, that were learning how to fix their own things in their home.
I
Some
love
of them were
it.
single, yeah, and some of them weren't. So I had to throw that in there. I'll let
Oh,
you talk
yeah.
next. Angela, talk about one of these others.
Okay, so let's go with Perla. So I mentioned she's a federal contractor in heavy civil, and actually she was on our podcast. She was also on an episode, so you can listen to her story, which is very interesting. And and she actually recently started, I think about a year or 2 ago, the Iowa School of Construction. And so she's
Yes,
really helping a lot of students or learn a trade and get out there and do it. And I mean, That's what we need more of, right?
Right.
Easy
And she's been
access.
all over the news, like,
Yes.
if you just Google Perla DeLuca, you're gonna find her everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
We really
Definitely
appreciate
look
what you're
her up.
doing, Perla. If you're listening, we really do appreciate all the things that you're doing to make our industry better and just to advance our industry where more people wanna enter it.
Yes, yes. She's doing wonderful things. Definitely follow her on LinkedIn because you'll find out all the news there.
Yes. So now I get to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart that
Oh,
literally got invented from Angela and I's relationship. Um, I started Women Construction Forum with Angela, and she's probably gonna wanna talk about that too for a minute. But in that forum, it was just for women with hard hats, and I gained something from that group of women that literally gave me the confidence to be who I am today. I was very shy, didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't want to share my journey. And just being around a lot of women who make you feel good about being you is so important. And that's what Angela and Rachel did for me. But also, some of the other women that are in that group are really,
mhm.
I'm really close to them. And even though I don't get to talk to them a lot, I look up to them. Really admire what they do every day, not only in their jobs, but how they manage their homes and how they just keep it all together because it's not easy some days. But because of that group with Hard Hats Only, I felt guilty that I knew about this magic that happened and I wasn't being able to do the same for women in business or students. And so I created a nonprofit called Women Confidence Builders, and we've had 8 events. Super stoked about this. Just recently opened a membership portal, and now we're going to be doing some mentoring with 25 people or less. Whoever registers first, as long as you're a member, we're going to mentor you or just network. If you don't need mentoring, you can network on that call. We're going to talk about what's hard. We're going to talk about what you need, and then we're going to try to help you make connections. There's a lot of leaders in the group. Angela's one of them. And we're going to take those needs back to our board. We have 28 people on it. And we're going to find ways to connect you in places personally or professionally that's going to help you grow. So I'm really excited about that. It's womenconfidencebuilders.com. You can pretty much find anything you want to find on that website. We have an excellent web designer who just happens to be my husband. So, really excited about that and all that we've done. 23 scholarships we've given out in just a year and a half, and, it's been really an exciting journey to
I
just
can't believe the first time I came to the first one and how it's just exploded.
it's so great. It
It
is just so
really
great.
is.
The testimonies we get, not only from our
Oh,
podcast,
yeah.
but also from that event, people are just saying we've changed their lives, which, you know, I don't feel like I did it, but I think we do it as a united group of women who really care about others. We really can change the world one gentle conversation at a time.
Yeah, and y'all have a lot of men there too,
We
right?
do have a
I
ton of
mean, it's
men there.
men
Yeah,
that support the women,
yeah.
and that's a really cool thing to watch too.
I think a lot of the women would rather hear from the men supporting the women sometimes than the women supporting the women. It just makes them feel like wow, I didn't know, there's a lot of times I wouldn't have believed that men were supporting women, right, in my role.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so it's really nice and refreshing to hear a man go, I love the women on my job site, or I love the women in my office, and I couldn't do what I do without them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
some of these women, the looks on their face when they start hearing the men talk is like, wow, that was cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yes, we love men too, for sure.
You want me to go next?
Sure.
Um, so I will the next one has also been on a podcast, and they are Girl Up Greenville, and it's
Yay.
Kim and Jessica, and they founded this organization. Do you where when do we have when they founded it? I'm not
I think
exactly
it was
sure.
2015. Hold on, I'm gonna look. You keep talking and I'll
Okay.
look.
So they exist to serve, the middle and high school girls from under, resource communities in Greenville, South Carolina through experience, enrichment, and empowerment. And if you go follow them on Instagram, or I think they're on LinkedIn too and Facebook, but I mean, the posts that they create are just they actually let the girls do the talking in a lot of these, and then they're just so powerful, and I even one of my mentees, she's actually helping them too. They have tons of volunteers that come in and
Rocky?
yeah, Rocky.
Nice.
Um, but I mean, you and I know lots of others, like, there's so many that go there to volunteer and help these girls mature and grow and do the things that maybe they and achieve the things that maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity to, because it's kinda like what you and I like to do is kinda be that, I guess, sponsor of someone, like, talk about
Mhm.
them when they're not in the room and, give them that leg up to, I don't know, make their dreams come true, and I
Makes
that's exactly what
hu
they're doing.
It makes a huge
It
difference
really
in their life.
does. Yeah.
And it didn't say when. I wanna say it's
Didn't
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't say, but it does say what we do, so I'm gonna actually read that for them.
Yeah, do it.
Our goal is to initiate early life-changing success by empowering our girls to reach their highest potential. Our programs are geared towards creating experiences for our students to lead to greater enrichment and empowerment, and it's for middle school and high school girls. Love it. They have after-school programs, summer camp, individual success planning. Is that not cool?
That is
Uh,
awesome.
Weekly enrichment classes, summer internships, and individual success planning. So, super important what they're doing for the girls in our community. And we were really proud to be friends with Jessica and Kim.
Oh, yeah, 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 so check them out for sure.
So, I guess I'm next.
Yep.
Renee Sachs with Women Builders Council. I literally could talk about her for an hour because of all the things she's accomplished in
Has
her
she
life.
written a million books?
I think maybe. But I won't. I don't wanna bore everybody, but definitely and it wouldn't be boring. You just would not imagine the things she's done for us, advocating for women in construction at, um at the ear of the governor of New York. So
Mhm.
please listen to her podcast. I think you're gonna glean a lot of information about what like, I literally look at her and think I'm never doing
Yeah,
enough, right? Like, I
yeah.
just do. So she is the president of Women Builders Council. She advocates. She runs, her own company called Sachs Communications. Just the amazing feats she's accomplished. The woman gets up at 4 o'clock every
I
morning,
don't does she sleep? She
and she's
cannot
like
sleep.
I don't but she looks amazing
Oh, yes,
every
she
day,
does.
and
Yes, she does.
yeah, I wish I looked that good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you get an opportunity, look up the Women Builders Council, and, anybody can be a part of it, even though it is, stationed in New York. They have a program called AIM, where they're helping young women get into leadership positions, so please take a look at that.
Yeah, and she's the 89th episode for
She
us.
was the
Yeah.
89th episode.
Woohoo.
We're gonna have to have a party at 100.
I was thinking that when I posted the 90. Okay, cool. So, you want me to go next
Yeah.
then? Okay, let me look down. Oh, so the next one we wanna talk about is she has also been on our podcast, and that is Tanya Hicks. And she actually has an industrial electrical company in Atlanta, and it's so cool how Christy and I kind of meet. A lot of these women or men we've known and we ask them to be on the show or we get to know, but all of them do so much more than just work. They're also out there giving back to the community and doing stuff, and she is definitely doing that, and so what happened here was my marketing company introduced me to Tanya and said, "Hey, by the way, you need to check this lady out. We're helping her with some resources on an event in Atlanta, and she is a rock star." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, she is." And she, by the way, if you Google her, you'll find she's been on lots of
She's
news
been
too.
on yes, for sure.
But she's created well, it's an event. I think she wants to eventually get this off the ground, but it happened when she wanted to do the first one during COVID. So that's kind
Mhm.
of why I think she's still working on it. But it's called womendoeverything.com. And so check that out because I know eventually once she gets that going and has this really cool event in Atlanta, hopefully Christy and I get to go to it because it sounds absolutely wonderful, and we know that
Mhm.
she's killing it out there,
She
so
is. Yes. So
mhm.
we're about out of time for today, but I wanna
We
mention
are.
one more, NAWIC. We would, really be hurting ourselves and all the women in the country if we didn't mention the
Yes.
National Association of Women in Construction. They are leading builders and building leaders, and one of our podcast hosts, Jennifer Morales, she is, I think she was the president at one time of NAWIC
Yeah.
in Florida, and just her insight on all the things NAWIC have been amazing. The support that they're giving to women, the events that they're
Mhm.
having so that women don't feel like they don't belong. It's just made a really big impact. And we get a lot of resources from NAWIC. So sometimes when we need to look up stats and things, we'll find that on NAWIC's website. So go to nawic.org when you get a minute, and thank you for listening us today and just
Yes, thank
hearing a
you.
little bit about these organizations that we've had on our podcast. And maybe you'll consider re-listening or listening for the first time to some of these ladies' podcasts. I do have to mention one more. We didn't mention Deb Bradley, the regional director of
Mm.
WCOE, but I need to mention her one more time. Deb is a constant giver of just serving others and helping women become leaders. And I just wanted to mention that she's been a huge supporter of Women Talk Construction. And she is the Northeast director for WCOE, which is Women Construction Owners and Executives. So thank
That's
you
terrific.
all for being on today. Angela, do you have anything else?
No, I just wanna say thank you, everyone, and thank you so much to just, everyone we mentioned, plus even more. I mean, we could talk about this stuff forever because they are all doing
Rock
brilliant
stars.
things. Yes, and rock stars, so thank you.
Thank you all for being on today. And let us know if you liked this podcast so we will do more of these. Thanks.